Concept generation. Let's take a quick overview of how we're going to approach our idea of concept generation. We'll define it quickly as just we're looking to explore all possible ideas in order to meet our goals. We can have lots of ideas and we want to brainstorm and come up with as many ideas as possible. We have different functions that we have defined in our functional decomposition. We're going to try to achieve each of those functions with some type of idea. And we want to try to satisfy our constraints that we had set up to make sure that we're not violating any of those. So, and our overall goal is we're going to end up with a process that makes sure that we're going to get every solution that's possible for our design. We don't want to rule anything out. We want to consider all types of options right now. So, when we look at the goals that we had defined for our design project, we want to look at each of those goals, or maybe they could be the functions that we had set up or the sub-functions that we had set up. We want to try to come up with ideas, different methods that we can use to achieve each of those functions. For example, we have a product design that we're trying, like maybe the toothbrush or a screwdriver that we've talked about, something like that. Maybe we're trying to improve the design, so maybe we have a couple goals here, maybe reduce weight, reduce cost, or increase the battery life. Those are some examples. Okay? Those are examples of goals that we're trying to achieve. Now, we want to include all kinds of ideas. We don't want to get rid of any right now. We want to not judge any of the ideas that we have so far. So we'll look at just possible ideas. So for example, maybe the reduce weight goal. We come up with a few options for methods to do that. Maybe we can use lighter materials. We can make it smaller, or we can reduce the battery size or the size of the motor as possible methods in order to make it reduce the weight that we have in the object, like the toothbrush. And then each of those methods, we come up with different concepts in order to achieve that method. So for example, the lighter materials on the top here, we could go with, maybe we can replace the metal materials with plastic materials or another lightweight material, make it out of something else that's less dense. We can make it thinner, that would be an option, or maybe reduce the size of the parts to make them smaller and make them reduce weight. So those are some examples, and for each of these methods, we can come up with lots of different ideas on how to achieve that method in order to meet that goal. So, and if we do the same for each of the goals, we had 3 goals listed, and there could be lots more. We have three goals or 3 functions listed. So we could do that for each of those. We could come up with multiple methods to achieve that goal, and for each method, we can come up with lots of different concepts to meet that goal. If we listed them all out, we'd have quite a few. And when we're looking at the overall development through this process, we're going to be starting with a lot of ideas in our initial concept generation, and then we'll look at some of those ideas and say, well, some of these aren't going to work because they violate some of our constraints. And we'll narrow down that list to a smaller list. And then maybe from that list, we might come up with some more ideas too, so we might expand the list again, or maybe combine different ideas together. We'll get maybe some more concepts. Then again, we'll maybe use some screening processes to narrow down that list again. And again, there might be kind of increases and decreases along the way as we go through some screening processes and scoring processes in order to choose some better designs. We're going to talk about those in our concept selection stage. But in the end, we're looking to have one or maybe just a few concepts to come out and test, and then picking out the best idea from that. So that's kind of a quick overview of our process of going through the concept generation stage.